that's all right. It's me, you. We got a special kind of friendship.
I am not your friend.
Sure you are. Fishing buddy?
Sure you are, buddy. Yeah. Hi, guys. We're back. Seems like we just left this party. I see Snorty's first in the house. What's up, buddy? I see Gambit was next. And then I did. Yep, there she is. Shirley Levasseur is here. And anybody else pop in? And that's it right now. It's just the three of you and the two of us. I'm going to be wrapping this show up probably a little early today because I'm fucking beat. I'm already tired. And so we're going to start watching this and talk about the film, talk about the making of it, talk about some of the work of the author who created this character or these characters, and come up with a little discussion about the film and my feelings about this style of film. I like the genre, which is called neo-noir. And it's, of course, neo-noir is the modern spin on the classic noir type story or archetypes. What is this? The studio, however, decided it would be too expensive and cluttered to shoot a period picture to the script. They kind of vary away from that in not just this film, several films. They chose not to shoot in the period where it was actually written. Let's see. Superficially updated, the World War II vets became Vietnam vets, and the actors and actor like Robert Ryan, Karen Black, and Sheree North joined the cast. Yeah, fuck it. We're not going to do the show. You got Gambit. All right, bye, guys. This was the second major attempt at doing a Parker story by the gentleman. His pen name was Richard Stark, but his real name was Donald E. Westlake. And Westlake was a prolific writer of crime thrillers. He liked that stuff, but he also wrote other kinds of films. One of my favorites is the movie The Grifters, based off of his book and original screenplay. The guy was a very good writer, and he wrote constantly, like all the way through his teens. And after 200 some odd rejections, somebody finally picked up one of his short stories in 1954. He had a sporadic short story sales for years. He went to college. It was Champlain College, which is in Binghamton, New York. Binghamton, New York. Also up in Plattsburgh. He served a stint in the United States Air Force. He moved to New York in 1959. Initially to work in a literary agency. And I kind of get it. He's trying to get, find out the ropes about working in publishing. Well, get a publishing job. I know a lot of writers that started out as copywriters. And he began working full time. He wrote a story called The Mercenaries, which from what I understand was pretty good. He had a passion, and I kind of get it. When you're a military vet, you tend to have a passion for military veteran characters. Just something that ends up happening. And he created the character of Parker. He did an entire series of them. In fact, there is one time when a book he was writing for a separate story ended up becoming a Parker story. And then another time when he was writing a Parker story that he ended up making it another character instead of Parker. And what mattered to him was, did it feel like Parker, authentically Parker, or did it feel like it was something else? And that's what he would decide on. And he even wrote some science fiction. He wrote the outfit and published it in 1963. I'm assuming it probably took me a year to write the book. It was published in 1963. And again, the characters in the stories were World War II veterans and Korean vet, but mostly World War II vets. And by the time they started making the films, that started to be too old. Like Lee Marvin played a version of Parker in Point Blank, and his character could easily have been a World War II veteran. But by the time 1970 hit, they're starting to get old, these World War II vets. So they got guys like now Ryan, who's in the movie. He plays kind of the main villain. He plays the character Mailer, and he's a World War II veteran, whereas Duvall and Joe Don Baker were Vietnam War vets, as well as guys that did a little time. And so every like 10 years you have to change when your characters were serving. Like the last iteration of Parker was in the Netflix movie, which I'm hoping we're going to see more of, with Mark Wahlberg. And Mark Wahlberg could easily be Gulf War I or Gulf War II veteran, because he actually did a Gulf War movie, which we're going to probably cover here soon, like for his birthday. It's either his or George Clooney's. We're going to cover the film Three Kings, which is a film about the Gulf War and how it's a remake of Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood, Don Rickles, Telly Savalas, and all that, where they're going to pull off a heist in the military before they leave, get to, ship back home.
We have it listed for Wahlberg's birthday, second week of June.
And but in this film, you actually had a woman that was probably best known for having been in the movie Airport. The two films that she's best known for is Airport and a made-for-TV anthological story where she played multiple characters called Trilogy of Terror, with the little voodoo doll that comes to life. And it's probably one of the scariest things I saw as a kid, but now I look back on it fondly as just this fun movie I liked from the period. You've got a great cast in this film. You've got Joe Don Baker playing Jack Cody. You got Robert Duvall playing Parker, but his name in this is Earl Macklin. And this was the rule, by the way. I mentioned it earlier on this morning show, is that Westlake made it clear that you weren't allowed to use the character's name in the story unless you plan to do all of them. And so that's why you don't see the name Parker used in those days when he was still alive. And
That's a weird rule, though.
He died in 2008. Well, I kind of get it. It's kind of your way of saying, look, if you want to use the character's name, you have to agree to do at least 3 films, a trilogy. And I kind of think that's a smart way of doing it. It's a business decision, and that's all. It's pure business. So you have to change the name of the main character if you're only planning to doing like the one the one movie. And Parker, is a very popular book character. Hi, James. Yeah, and by the way, just to point this out again, what I brought up earlier is this was that weird period of time when Hollywood kind of went against the norm and cast guys who typically would not be your leading man character. From Robert Duvall, who's a good-looking dude, but he was balding. And then you got Gene Hackman, who also was balding and not exactly handsome. He's rugged, but he's not really handsome. But boy, oh boy.
That never hurt him, though.
No, they're great fucking actors. I would watch either of those guys do anything.
Do you want me to bring the slideshow up?
Yeah, if you want to. Sure.
There you go.
So the outfit, which was released in 73, shot in 72, is a neo-noir crime thriller directed by John Flynn, based on the 63 novel of the same name by Richard Stark, a pseudonym of Donald E. Westlake. The film stars Robert Duvall as Earl Macklin, a professional thief released from prison after serving 27-month sentence for carrying a concealed weapon while he was on probation. Upon learning his brother Eddie has been murdered by the mob, an organization called in this book the Outfit, for robbing a bank that they owned up in Kansas, Macklin seeks to avenge himself on these people. So the basic plot summary is after being set up for a motel or at a motel and attacked by a hitman, Earl teams up with his old partner, Joe Don Baker, as Jack Cody, and his former girlfriend, Karen Black, who's playing Bet Harrow, to systematically rob the outfit's operations. His goal is to recover $250,000 of what he believes is owed for the destruction of his life. Now, I'm going to point this out again. This is a constant theme throughout the Parker stories. There's a little bit of revenge, and there's the money you owed me. It's in there. So, anyway, the film features a series of tense heists, as well as the breaking in and robbing a poker game. And then, of course, there's the high-stakes horse action at the racetrack. And it ultimately, it culminates into a final assault on the mob boss himself, played by Robert Ryan as Mailer. Now, Mailer could have just simply played by Macklin's rules, and it all would have ended. But then again, there's no story if it just, like, everybody goes, you know what, we're just going to give you the money. No.
It's always something like that. Like in so many movies, the whole story just happens because they failed to communicate. Yep.
The guy makes a bad decision and wants to carry on this fight and thinks that he can take out Macklin, and Macklin's smarter than him. And really, in reality, if you watch this movie, Macklin's character is smarter than everybody he's up against. Parker. And nobody could play like a villain like Robert Ryan, man. I mean, one of my favorite films with Ryan was Bad Day at Black Rock with Spencer Tracy and Lee Marvin, by the way. Great little film. I think Borgnine's in that too, if I remember correctly. So this is kind of a cool scene. These guy dressed as a priest and a taxi cab driver pull up in the gas station, ask for directions to this farm. They go out to this little farm and they encircle Eddie, who is the brother of Earl Macklin, Robert Duvall, and they smoke him because he was involved in that robbery. And but the thing is when they kill him, they actually think that they're killing Earl Macklin. So once again, they make that mistake. We thought you were dead, which is said a couple of times in the film to Earl. We thought you were dead. No, that was my brother you murdered, not me. Yeah, I love Borgnine's just great in anything he's in. But yeah, that's a great movie. For those who've never seen it, Bad Day at Black Rock is just a classic fucking thriller. Yeah, unrelated. Yeah, that's not a plus sell for me. Ice Cube. Ice Cube's in it. Great.
Yeah.
Shit, Mark Wahlberg wasn't even a plus selling point at that point. He could not act to save his life. I think the best thing about Mark Wahlberg in that period of time was what they did with Andy Samberg on SNL when he started doing an impersonation of Mark Wahlberg talking to animals.
Yeah, I think the selling point was George Clooney with this one.
Yeah, George Clooney was a selling point for that movie. No question. So they go to this gas station, ask directions, and then they go out to the little ranch-style farm, kill him, and then Earl's wife shows up, and he says, hey, the priest and taxi cab head up there. She's like, oh, my God. Yeah, this is not good. So she immediately makes a phone call, and he doesn't answer the phone, so she knows he's probably dead. And so this is where Earl's going to get involved because, and I love that with the dog. He's tethered, and he can't go to his daddy. So he's just sitting there whining because daddy's dead. Yeah, without a doubt, I love old Spencer Tracy movies, man. Well, I kind of expect him to kill the dog at first, but I was kind of grateful too. It's like, even though I know it's a movie, they didn't really do it. It's just, man, don't kill the dog.
No, I hate when they do that.
But hey, man,
Yeah,
you know you've got a really bad guy when they do that. They shoot animals and children.
if you have to, self-defense, I mean, okay-ish, but just don't.
So one of the cool things in this film is this is the first major role for a young actress, just kind of working her way into the system at the time, Joanna Cassidy, who was a friend of mine, and known her for a long time. And she is a classy, as my dad called her, a classy broad. Oh, yeah, the judo throw. Yeah. I like this period of time in movies because of the way they focus less on style and more on that gritty realism. So they use real locations a lot in these movies. Everything has that dirty look to it, this prison he's getting out of. Yeah, Joanna's been in a lot more than just Blade Runner, but yeah, of course, Blade Runner. That's how I met her. But yeah, she's in quite a few good films. One of them that I really liked was she was Gene Hackman's ex-wife in the movie The Package with Tommy Lee Jones.
Have we covered that one?
Yeah, we did.
I thought that sounded familiar.
So the film's directed by John Flynn, and we lost him back in the 2000s. He lived a good long life. Flynn is an old Chicago guy. He served in the U.S. Coast Guard during the war. He was taught, of all things, by Alex Haley, the guy who wrote Roots. He was one of his main teachers. Flynn entered the film industry when Robert Weiss, whom we've talked about a lot, hired him to do some research for the biopic of Robert Capa. And the film never was made, but he got along with Robert Weiss, who hired Flynn to work as his assistant on the film Odds Against Tomorrow. Flynn subsequently worked on as a script supervisor for Weiss with his film West Side Story, and as a second assistant director in Kid Galahad, Two for a Seesaw, and then he worked as an assistant director in the great classic war film The Great Escape. And so, you know, this guy did a lot of work. He's worked on a lot of feature films. A couple of them we've done here. Rolling Thunder, for example. One of them that we're planning on doing is Bestseller with James Woods and Brian Dennehy. He made the last, in my opinion, the last good Steven Seagal film, Out for Justice, where he's a Chicago cop that's got to take down Gino, or I think the character's name is Gino, played by John Forsythe. And that's pretty much I think those are the films I know him for. So, but it's the last film I liked of Steven Seagal's, Out for Justice.
What happened after that?
His movies went to crap, really. He did basically it was like there was this area of film at the time where he, like Out for Justice, Under Siege, Above the Law, Hard to Kill. He just made that handful of films, Seagal, that were decent, and then his hubris got the better of him, and he started making shittier movies. and apparently pissed off some people in the mob, and he went into hiding.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Even the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 60s, 70s, and 80s were progressive years when it came to the evolution of the gradual filmmaking. Yeah. The 70s saw the gritty era, which is what I liked. It started really in the very end, like 68, 69 movies that came out then. And this was a period of time when they hadn't even figured out how to color blood. It took them a while. It wasn't until mid 70s when they finally started making a formula for fake blood in film that looked real. Like there's that period where it's just like orange. John Wayne movies like had orange blood in them.
Yeah. Oh my God. So bad.
When they shot it, it looked red, but on the finished product, not so red.
I remember we called out some pretty goofy shit with that.
Yeah. And again, you know, this film, like Gambit mentioned earlier, and I said it was originally meant to be a 40s period piece, but MGM changed the contemporary setting due to cost concerns, you know, to save them money. Director John Flynn emphasized realism over spectacle, which is why it's kind of boring compared to most action thrillers. The film's use of Alicia Cook Jr., a classic noir actor, was a nod to the genre's roots. What's my train of thought? I'm sorry. Yeah, we got to talk about True Grit the other day, and I do plan to do the remake because I think it's a very good film. It's a closer adaptation of the book. Steven Seagal became arrogant. Yeah, it's his hubris. Yeah. And quantity over quality. And worst of all, you know, once he pissed off the mob, it got even worse. So. What?
Reed says his hubris and his waistline, I'm assuming, both got out of control.
Well, that started, you started noticing it in the movie Hard to Kill. Because like his outfit that he wore in that thing was to help hide it, and it didn't hide it. He just looked weird.
Was that the movie on that ship?
No, that's Under Siege.
Under
Siege. To Kill was where that's actually with his wife, then wife. That movie came out in 1990, and it starred Steven Seagal with his wife, Kelly LeBrock. It had William Sadler in it and Frederick Coffin. And it's a fun movie, but it was really one of his worst early films. And by the time we got past that, I mean, good God, On Deadly Ground, for God's sakes, what a terrible movie. I couldn't believe they got Michael Caine in it, but Michael Caine has bills to pay.
Still sucks.
He's got to pay those bills, man. Got to pay those bills. But yeah, On Deadly Ground was just a terrible movie. And then he did another film called Fire Down Below, which I remember when I saw the title of the film, I said, I wonder if it's about STDs.
Oh, Jesus.
My cocaine. Hi, Sander. How you doing, buddy? I see Reed is here. Oh, E. Clay Tomlinson is here. And our buddy, oh, there he is, 11 Alpha. And yes, Kelly LeBrock.
And 11 Alpha.
Yeah, I said hi to 11 Alpha because he's got Kelly LeBrock. He's on screen right now. Getting tired, E. Clay. We did a show earlier, and I should probably nap between shows to have some energy, but didn't nap.
There was no time. You only had like a little over 2 hours.
I could get an hour and a half nap in. Like if I even get 45 minutes, I'll feel better. But I'm just done. Karen Black, of course, like I said, best known for Airport and the made-for-TV movie Trilogy of Terror. She was an odd-looking chick. She's in another film with Jack Nicholson that I remember this day. That I'm like, that's like I don't understand her as an actor. Why because she's weird looking. She looks cross-eyed. And I always thought she was a weird actress. She's a good actor, but she's weird. And I never thought she was good looking. So I really have never been totally sure, like how Five Easy Pieces is the movie I'm trying to think of with Nicholson. It's like, she's his love interest. And I'm like, really? Porter asked Michael Caine if, Jaws Revenge. Yeah, it paid for his mother's house. I watched A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I'd missed last night. I'm not interested in any of it anymore. They burned a bridge with me when they did that other series, House of the Dragon. Like, I'm out. I'm not.
They fucked it up. It started so good, and then they fucked it up.
Some great street scenes. I like this too. Not on the Warner or Universal or Paramount or Fox backlot, but real locations. That's one of the reasons I love the movie Freebie and the Bean. You're actually on the streets of San Francisco in that movie. Yeah, The Man Who Would Be King. Classic movie. We did that one already, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
Classic film that they finally got to work together on. One of the best things, by the way, James, that you can find, go on YouTube and look up Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Tonight Show. Because they actually went together onto the Tonight Show. And you can tell those two are best mates. It's so much fun to watch that. But again, going back to Karen, she just is such a weird actor. She played Myrtle, but for the God's sakes, in The Great Gatsby. Like a kind of a role that was designed for her. A pathetic character. And she was in the movie Airport 75. Like I said, she played Nancy Pryor, one of the stewardesses. But what she's best known for is playing the three characters, Julie, Millicent, and Teresa, in the Trilogy of Terror, which is, again, another classic. She was in some weird artsy Hollywood films, Nashville, The Day of the Locusts. Not a big fan of either of those films. She was in Hitchcock's last movie, Family Plot. But then she ended up in a film that I did like, although not because of her, is the movie Burnt Offerings with Oliver Reed. And I do. I like that movie. Burgess Meredith is in it too. And boy, what a weird character he played in that one. But she always plays the woman who's overly needy with her men. And
I
and
hate characters like that.
And she's kind of like that in this, but thank God there's a little better writing. So it's almost like she's almost needy, but then backs off. And she's a tragic character in this film too, because she is the good side of Macklin's character. She's in love with that side of Macklin. She's not in love with the bad boy. She's in love with the man that he really is inside. And then she fucking dies because the mob try to kill them. And of course, it's always the innocent that get killed in those moments.
Collateral damage.
There's a movie that I've never really liked. The first, I don't like Family Plot either. But Topaz was one of those Hitchcock films that I was like,
Why didn't you like it?
Well, it's just like he says, they're not vintage Hitchcock. They're not the best of Hitchcock. They're Hitchcock when he's just calling it in. It's not like they're awful. It's sort of like with pizza, you know. You can have some really amazing pizza, or you can really have some running, average pizza. But it's like, I didn't die eating it. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm not like you with that. If it's
And of
not
course,
good, I'm not eating it.
Karen Black, of course, died in 2013, but she had been in a couple of films. She worked with Rob Zombie in that movie House of a Thousand Corpses, which I hated that movie. She kind of an update version of Trilogy of Terror called Ooga Booga. Came out in 2013, right before she died. I'm looking at some of the stuff she did towards the end. Really, she deserved better than that. Yeah, some of this is just garbage. I like this. He says, I'll be right back. I thought you said you'd be right back. I got delayed. Throws him some money. There's an old Packard. Piece of shit Packard there on the left. Frenzy was Hitchcock's last good film. I wholly agree with you, Sander. I'd be right about in the same area, a solid 7, maybe even an 8, because structurally it's a really sound story. It's just not a very exciting film because he wanted to focus more on it being realistic, the director.
Yeah, I would give it 6 because I got bored watching this.
Now, there's another great actor that's in this film. That guy goes all the way back to John Hughes with the Maltese Falcon. And he was a kind of a bit actor. He was a great character actor, really, what it comes down to. And I need to go find out his name because I forget his fucking name. Looking to see if he's on the main page. Richard Jekyll's in this too, by the way. I fucking love Richard Jekyll. God, that guy's a good actor. Another good actor that's in this, one of the hitmen, the one that dressed like a priest, is Tom Reese. That guy is a hardcore Marine fucking veteran. There it is, Alicia Cook Jr. And that was that connection to the noir films in this movie, was having him in this as the guy that runs the little cafe thing there. And he was a little pint-sized guy, a little short guy. But he played some...
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy. He wasn't very tall. Here, I'll give you an example. Let me show you.
Yeah, but pint size is weird.
He's a pint-sized actor. Yeah, the guy's tiny. Shared screen. Alicia Cook, here we go. Look at him here. Did it add him? Yeah, there we go. That's him there in the background. He's shorter than even the actress. Okay.
Huh.
Little tiny guy. That's him. And like I said, he was in the Maltese Falcon. And that's the connection of this movie to the classic noir films. And he's just a little tiny guy, man. Oh, man, his psycho look. Look at that psycho look he's got on his face there.
Crazy.
He does the same thing in the Maltese Falcon when Bogart's fucking with him. And he's like, keep pushing those buttons, man. Keep pushing those buttons. Then he gets knocked out. Bogart knocks the shit out of him. It's fucking funny. Yeah, he knocks the shit out of a couple of people in that movie. Him and Peter Lorre, 2 tiny men. But this guy was a classic fucking actor, man. He'd been around for a long time. In fact, isn't he? Yeah, right here, House on Haunted Hill. He was the husband. Classic fucking movie right here. Great fucking movie. House on Haunted Hill. This is a low budget Roger Corman film, but it's so much fun. Yeah, his face during the ghost moments where you're like, what's going on? Is this haunted? Oh, yeah. Is that Lucille Ball? It is. Yeah. 1946. This is around the time when she got told to change her hair to red. McCloud. Fuck yeah. Good stuff, man. And it's not the only Bogart film he did. He also was in the film The Big Sleep. So he's in two major Humphrey Bogart films.
We need to give Snarty a video for his breach.
Well, first, let's give him this video. I gotta find it. Oh. And of course, Sandra is here.
Howdy, folks. It's me, Colonel Sanders.
There you go.
I like that one.
Looking for a back door.
Maybe we can get in through the back door.
Oh, we haven't used that one in a while.
And by the way, one of the other films that this guy directed was Rolling Thunder, which we've already done on here. That's where the guy wins all those coins after he gets back from being a POW in Vietnam. And the gangsters show up at his house to steal the coins from him and shove his hand down the
Oh, God.
garbage disposal. That movie. And then he goes and has him and Tommy Lee Jones avenge themselves on these guys. Good fucking movie.
Scenes like that want me to never get a sync like that.
Yeah. By the way, another actor in this movie in a bit part is Bill McKinney. And he's a guy that's played a lot of like scumbags, bad guys. He played Kern in First Blood. He was the crazy mountain man that does all the grapes. Squeal like a pig, boy. In the movie Deliverance. He played a cop in The Gauntlet with Clint Eastwood, a terrible film that I heard they're trying to remake. And goodness gracious, he's been in so many fucking movies. And he almost always plays a bad guy because he has a look to him.
Yeah, some people just have a face for villains.
Yeah, and by the way, Gambit, when I was a kid, there was an episode of McCloud, and he said something that stuck in my head my entire life. And I ended up having a moment where I could use that line in real life. And I absolutely jumped right at it. And that's, of course, where the girl says, I don't threaten your masculinity, do I? And he responds back, no, why? Do I threaten yours?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Hi, Shirley. I'm assuming you guys are getting rough weather right now, too.
Where's she living?
She lives up there in the New England states. I think not Connecticut. Where do you live? Maine? Am I remembering correctly, Shirley? Maine? Yep. I nailed it. We're right about there. And the problem isn't the fucking snow, it's the cold. Oh, I miss this. All I watch now is old movie and TV shows. James, look, there's so much garbage on today that it's hard to find good stuff. That's why we do what we do. Yeah, there is. Pluribus is a really good show. I consider it one of the best sci-fi shows to ever be put on TV. And of course, Alicia Cook Jr. played a baddie in The Maltese Falcon. Yep, brought that up. Whereas Viennese actor Peter Lorre played a closeted gay henchman.
What?
His character, yeah, was played that way. That's Bogart slaps him and tells him, you'll take it and you'll like it. He slaps him.
It's been so long since we watched that movie.
Yeah, The Killing is one of the films that nobody seems to recognize as being an inspiration too behind Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. But it is. He didn't just steal from the Chinese Hong Kong cinema. He also stole from Kubrick. Rope, great film. Shot it like it was a stage play. Very clever. And it also dealt with the two characters, Lerner and Loeb, who killed the little boy for real and thought that they had the right to kill because they were superior. And of course, they did not, and they didn't get away with it. But there's a movie about them, and the other film that kind of is them is Rope. The two main characters are based on those guys, Lerner and Loeb.
Snotty is right. He was Hungarian and then moved to America.
Yes. He played Ice Pick, the former gangster that was friends with Rick. Like a dad to him.
Such a weird name, though.
Well, Robert Ryan, what I remember him best for was Bad Day at Black Rock because he was the main henchman, the main villain. Yeah, Laurie was Germanic, but yeah, Hungarian because he spoke fluent German. In fact, he fled Europe not long after he made the movie M, where he was a serial killer of children. And because there was a big fear that Fritz Lang had made a critical film of the Yahtzees. And so out of fear, many people fled Europe after working on that film. But he is German. His name was, his real name was Laszlo Lowenstein.
Yeah, that first name tells you Hungarian, Laszlo.
Yeah, he's from Austro-Hungary. So I don't know what city though he is from. Let me go see. Oh, I found it. Oh fuck, I don't know how to. It's Rosenberg in German. Rutzenbach, Barock, the Slavic pronunciation.
I have no idea. That is a Hungarian town, so that's a fucked up language. I'm not even going to try.
Bujam Beduk. Rajan Barak is the name of it. I just checked the, how to pronounce it. It's a northern town in Slovakia in the historical Liptov region. It has a population of approximately 27,000 people. There you go. I guess you could say he was a hunky.
Hunky.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, Alpha. And I actually went to Wikipedia on how to pronounce it. You click the little, how do you pronounce button, and it plays the audio. Rajan Barak. Yeah, Robert Ryan is just good in anything he's in, Gambit. I mean, that's a solid actor. And again, you got a balding guy here playing your hero or your main protagonist.
It's weird that they were being so weird about that. What's
Weird
his
about
hair
what?
have to do about the whole balding thing? Can't have a balding main character. Why?
It's all about the Hollywood look. And this was a period of time when they kind of stopped that shit. And they started hiring actors because they were great fucking actors. And don't worry about how good looking they are. And so you could get guys like Gene Hackman and Robert Duvall in leading roles. Stop focusing on good looking guys that look like Cary Grant.
Nowadays they're back to that though. They cast for
they've gone back to the looks.
Talent. It sucks.
It's either they hire someone who's really gorgeous, or they hire someone that's a big fat donut. It's dumpy looking. We'll prove we're not like that. We're going to hire the exact opposite of that. How about just down the middle, just normal? Let's go for normal looking. Well, normal is is up to the individual perspective. It's like, fuck off. Okay, done.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Man, oh man, you looked at her and you knew she was trouble. Wait, she's eyeballing him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can pretend this takes place in England or Australia on the outback.
Yeah, but it's so gray overall that fits more with the English weather.
Now, this is the scene where we meet Richard Jekyll's character. Richard Jekyll was not only one of my dad's, but became one of my favorite actors of all time. My dad loved that guy. And I think his love for him started with the movie Dirty Dozen. He just really liked Richard Jekyll in that movie.
Sorry.
And here's that one dude I told you about. That's him standing there right now. Bill McKinney. And he always plays like villains and shit. He's also a villain in the movie The Shoot Us with John Wayne. He's one of the guys that tries to shoot John Wayne in the back in the bar scene at the end. Oh, yeah. Dude, James, you're talking to a lover of British fucking crime thrillers. I love those movies, man. Get Carter, one of my favorites of all time. The Long Good Friday. Bob Hoskins, man. There's Jekyll. He died young.
What happened to him?
I'm not sure if it's cancer or what. Yeah. Malignant melanoma.
Oh, damn.
He was born in 1926 and died in 1997. Last big movie he made was, as I recall, was Starman by John Carpenter. Great TV series, Alpha. Love that show. Wait. Was that the name of the show? What was...
I don't know.
I'm not talking to you. I'm actually just asking myself.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not mindful with stuff like that.
Let me look.
That's what you need Matinee for, among other things.
Because I Combat is what I'm thinking of. Combat. Battleground is the movie. Get Carter is a classic revenge story. Yep. Well, he did another film too, Mona Lisa. Another good film. Yeah, I like British crime dramas. Has the idea us against evil and the IRA and Harold Shand, and because Jeff is creating a nightmare for Harold's organization, then it became a nightmare. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I figured out. Battle of the Bulge movie, Battleground. James Whitmore was in that one, as I recall. No, I'm referring to. Yeah, I fucking know that. God damn it. Fucking chat moves, and I go to click on something, and it moves on me.
I know.
Bob Hoskins knocked it out of the park. Long Good Friday. Right. Or phantasmagoria, or a cul-de-sac, if you will, from which there's no escape. It was also the first film to use an actual on-set military advisor. And it's the film that where they actually like did boot camp and everything, like Dale Dye would do later with his films, putting the soldiers through training, the actors. Yeah, James Whitmore has the fucking limp because of his feet.
What is with his feet?
The character in the they didn't have proper boots sometimes, and it was fucking cold.
Oh.
It was in Bastogne in the middle of fucking winter. And James Whitmore is an actual World War II vet. Several of the film's actors were actual combat vets, including James Arness, who's in the movie too in a bit part. James got hit in Anzio, and it left him with a permanent limp too. For real. It got more pronounced with age. Like when he played Matt Dillon in the TV series, he had a hint of a limp, kind of almost gave him a swagger. But as he got older, he would come up off the ground when he would walk. Ricardo Montalban was also in Battleground as a Mexican-American soldier. His being Mexican was treated no different than being Irish, Italian, or German-American. Goddamn right. The way it should be treated. Because Harold, played by Bob Hoskins in The Good Long Friday, senses the climax that Jeff is the traitor and the main source of his confusion. He died in Bastogne, Reed. Yeah, racism. The funny thing is, they make it look like every fucking white guy was a racist in the military, and it couldn't have been further from the fucking truth. You rarely ran into that kind of racism in the military. And in fact, when I was in the military, the only racism I ran into is between the black soldiers and the Mexican soldiers, the Hispanic soldiers. They fucking didn't like each other. I'm like, what? Like, what's that about? You guys have some sort of history I don't know about? No.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's just weird. Oh, and Anzio. Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm not sure if it was D-Day or at Anzio that Jimmy Doohan got wounded.
I think that was D-Day, if I remember correctly.
He got shot in the hand and ass.
Classic, getting shot in the ass.
Well, he lost the digit, which is why like Rado O'Reilly, the actor Gary Berghoff, is missing a finger or two and hides them. They're like mutated hands or something.
Oh, and it was friendly fire too.
Yeah, he's always spitting tobacco. That's of course something that Anima loves seeing in film.
Ah, it's so gross. Yeah, I googled it. It was D-Day, and it was a nervous Canadian who accidentally shot him with 6 bullets. Big fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee Van Cleef. Yeah, it's like we used to say, friendly fire really isn't.
Not very friendly, no.
Now, this is a great scene, this robbery, and basically tells this one dude, you're going to remember the thing, or I'm going to just start shooting you in places. Shooting toes off. Take his shoe off. I'm going to start shooting his toes off. The guy starts to count, and he goes, okay, I got it. And he owns the fucking thing.
Did you pause for a reason?
Yeah, to say that.
Oh, okay.
Another great film that I really like Robert Duvall on early on was Sam Peckinpah's. Oh shit! I just forgot the fucking movie. I'm thinking if we do that film too, I'm going to have my friend Katie Haber on because she worked on the movie, and I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. Give me a minute. It's James Caan. Oh my goodness. It's going to come to me any second, any fucking second. It was right around the late 70s or mid 70s. I even used the movie poster for another movie poster. Oh, Killer Elite. I just remembered Killer Elite. And I'd like to do that film and to have Katie on to talk about it.
I'd like that.
She was the film director's personal assistant and executive. Film critic Roger Ebert said that this was the first movie in a long time to resurrect the great piece of 1930s slang language, gunsel.
What's gunsel?
It's old slang.
Well, yeah, he says that, but what does it mean?
It means like a gun carrying gangster. Gunslinger.
Okay.
Basically. It's a gunsel is, as I recall, is a criminal that carries a gun. Yes, that's correct. He is a big fan of this film, and it's not the first time, nor will it be the last time that he and I agreed on a film. I'm not a big fan of Quentin, but I do agree with a lot of the films that he likes. I'm a big fan of too. Penny is here. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Penny. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone on the list. I'm so fucking tired.
No, yeah. Well, Ryan died in 1973, as I recall. Yeah. Gunsel. It actually means catamite from Yiddish Ginsel itself. But doesn't it? I always thought it was connected to gunslinger Gunsel, but it is like a gangster or a thug carrying a gun. Isn't that what it is? Which brings me back to Edward G. Robinson, who also died the same year. Yes, he did. The last thing he did was Soylent Green. The guy who played Rico Bandeo in the mobster film Little Caesar, 1931. Yeah, Edward G. Robinson was just a great actor. One of my favorite films with him is a Bogart Bacall film. During a hurricane. I'm trying to remember the name of the film. I've showed it to you a couple times, Danny.
Okay. You show me many things, so hard to remember them all.
All right, I'm gonna fucking look the word up because I'm pretty sure it means gangsters that carry guns. Gunsel meaning. All right. Number one definition: a gun-carrying hoodlum or criminal. Second definition: a young man kept for homosexual purposes, a catamite. 3, a passive partner in butt play. We'll say butt play. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because in the movie, in this film, I think that's what it's referring to as gun-carrying thugs. Dashiell Hammett used to mean catamite, but his editor thought it meant gunslinger, so it got published, and Hollywood censors didn't know either when the movie was made. That's funny. By the way, one of the highlights of this film is the fact that Joe Don Baker is so fucking good in this movie. Well, Little Caesar's a good film. It's not a great film. Public Enemy is better, and so is Scarface. I prefer Public Enemy to all three of those titles. Yeah, a place to put your gun. So that also connects with the gay thing. The picture is considered to be a modern film noir. It is film noir. This movie, hell yeah, it is.
You pointed
This
that
is-
out at the beginning.
Yeah, it's called neo-noir.
Again, Snorty? Really?
Snort, you lazy bastard.
You are being a lazy and naughty bear today.
Go! Use the back door. I'll stall the crowd. Go, go.
There you go.
Has that series come to an end? We haven't had a new episode in a while.
No, we're just waiting for a new season.
Okay.
Says, Emil Meyer and Timothy Carey worked on Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory together. Yeah, he's in this. Yeah, he's one of the bad guys. Before that, Carey was a Kubrick's film noir heist, The Killing, which is a great film. Alicia Cook and Marie Windsor, who played bickering married couple. All right. The New Black. Yeah, it's exactly what it means. Literal meaning. Neo-noir, new. Black. Yeah. But the reference, of course, is noir being that of the classic black and white thrillers, mystery thrillers. And this was the new version of that classic style. And even though technically I've always said that Chinatown shouldn't be listed as neo-noir because the story takes place in the period that noir was made in the 30s, 40s, but they still refer to it as neo-noir because it's edgier.
Well, they're very edgy with the creation of that in itself because the first word is Greek and the second is French.
I'm a very bad bear.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Key Largo is the movie I was trying to think of. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Bogey Bacall films. However, Time Magazine wrote director Flynn makes a movie that has been seen before without either the skill or spirit. There were some mean things said about this movie that were undeserved, in my opinion. That just swings such excellent predecessors as Point Blank and Get Carter. Get Carter, because I love Point Blank, but the fact is Get Carter is the better of the three films, without a question. But I like Point Blank, which is the same story as what you get with Payback with Mel Gibson. It's the same story. And it's from the same book, The Hunter. And The Hunter was one of the better known and more popular Parker stories. And it was also the first Parker story. But it's a great one because it gives you this sense of understanding that this guy isn't about getting ahead. It's about getting even. And he's a karma. He's an agent of karma, which, if you guys haven't heard me say, my favorite main characters in stories are agents of karma that are there to set things straight, put them back in balance. Key Largo, the hilarious neo-noir parody novella I read called The Case of the Hard-Boiled Dicks. I know that one. I know this one.
Okay.
Similar to the police squad in town. Yeah. Yeah, the Point Blank with Lee Marvin. Just a great fucking movie. There's this one moment, and I remember watching the documentary about, Lee Marvin, but also the making of that film, where the director, it's the same director who did Deliverance and Excalibur. And he talked about how when you see that slow motion of him, you're seeing him from the side, he's firing that magnum, and you see the way he drew the gun, the way he's pointing the gun, the way he fires the gun in an exaggerated way that it moves, was meant to be a coital representation of him and his wife, played by, I think Angie Dixon played his wife in Point Blank. Let's not forget Lana Barrymore and Claire Trevor in Key Largo. Well, of course not. I don't think he would agree with you, but I think most of us would agree with you that he was fucking survived the war. But there she is. That's Joanna Cassidy right there. I like this scene. You ever give my phone number out again? This is a really nice threat.
Yeah.
Again, you see the teal and the blue in these shots, but those were natural colors on set.
And not in your face like they do it today.
Not done in post. Well, it's done like a stage production. That's why everything was shot on a sound stage, because they wanted to feel like a stage play. It has that whole ship in a bottle feel to it because it's all one location. You have interior and exterior the same location. That's all you get. Karen Black. And like I said, she's a tragic character in this film because she just loves this guy. Okay. She just wants to get away from this shit. She wants to go home. She threatens to go home to her parents. And then she gets a little overly pushy about it and touches his pistol, and he slaps the shit out of her, threatening her. Don't you ever touch that gun. Don't you ever touch my gun. I'm like, is that are you being metaphorical? Or I don't know. I don't know what that is. What do you mean by that? Because I thought you were in love with her. I don't get it. I just finished James Gardner autobiography not long ago. He was a Korean War hero. 2 Purple Hearts, great actor too. Charisma off the charts. Are you talking about James Garner? I'm like, Gardner. I don't know who that is. Oh, Garner. Yeah.
Typo.
Never saw himself as a hero. Never did. Most guys
That's
who,
true heroes.
yeah, the most heroic guys I've ever met in my life didn't think twice about it. Payback has the same structure. Well, it's based on the same book, The Hunter. My grandfather helped build a railroad in the Keys in the 30s, and he was caught in the 35 Labor Day hurricane, which is kind of what that film is all about, you know, that hurricane. But the train had already been built because, in fact, it seems like the train or something is involved in the story somewhere because they're looking for people, wondering if they got out of town, either on the bus or on the train. Don't touch my gun phrasing. I know, right? Like, what did that even mean? Like, and then he slaps the shit out of her. And then cut to like an hour later, they're in bed. Clearly they fucked. It's like, man, you got some weird foreplay in this movie. But the sad thing is she's going to stay with him. And it's what gets her killed.
Well, you know what they say, Gary. Makeup sex is the best sex.
Look, I'm going to tell you, all the sex I've ever had, I pretty much made up. I thought you'd like that joke. Yeah, Gambit, it really is. It's one of the things I love about Key Largo is it feels like a stage. It's sort of like Rope by Hitchcock we brought up earlier. Another film that was shot to feel like it was a stage production. And in fact, to give it that sense of ongoingness, what you call real time. That, in other words, the amount of time that it takes you to watch the film is the amount of time that actually went by in the story. So in the movie Rope, what he decided to do is he knew that every spool of film is exactly 10 minutes of film. So he would run the film, and right when it got down to the last 20 to 30 seconds of film, he would have the camera operator push the camera into an object or in someone's back where it would black out. And then they would reload the camera and then take your places. And then they go action, and camera starts rolling and it backs up. It's seamless, or it feels seamless. So it feels like you just watched a stage production. That was fucking brilliant, man. I love Hitchcock when he was at his best. One of my favorites is Rear Window. Rear Window is at that time was the largest soundstage production that they had done. That entire set was the largest set ever built in a soundstage when it was made at Rear Window. He built the entire quad of these buildings, the center area, and you could see through the alley out into another street. And it's fucking great. I love that movie. Jim Rockford will probably be The Rock. Now, I won't watch any of it, James. I'm insulted by what they do, by not creating new stuff. I was pissed when they made Magnum P.I., rebooted that. I was pissed when they rebooted Hawaii Five-0. Guys got guns, but there's only one Johnny Rocco. Hi, Sally. How are you doing today?
She's been shoveling snow for 2 hours. That's why she needs to warm up now.
Now, this is really good because I will point out something really important in this scene. When he approaches it, the window, he's either been a cop or he knows enough about cops that when the person hands you their ID and it's inside the wallet, police officer asks you, would you please take it out? Don't make me do it. I'm not going to do it. Take the license out for me. And he does that. And I'm like, that's really cool. He did that because that might put the person at ease, but they're already on to him. And this is the moment right here where God, I feel so bad that Bet, you know, the woman in love with Earl, fucking gets smoked. And nobody knows it. They pull away after the shootout, and as they're driving away, Joe Don Baker looks in the mirror and he goes, uh-oh, hey, Earl. And he turns around and sees her, and she's just fucking dead in the back seat, bullet through the neck. And I can't help it. I get emotional watching that. What's it say? Fuck all these robots, okay? Fouquet.
You're
Okay,
right,
all these
Marty.
robots. Lord Tap Yo, I don't know what the hell you're saying, Alpha.
Highway Patrol.
Oh, backwards. I see.
That's where I'm really good. I look at that and immediately see what it's supposed to mean.
Rope is definitely like a stage play. Yeah, done intentionally so. And so is the movie Key Largo. I remember in high school, I actually said this in class. We were talking about, you know, classic films, and that movie got brought up. And I said, you know what the best part of that movie was? He goes, what? I said, that song by Dolly Parton and Roy, not Roy. I forget the country singer's name. And it's like, everybody just sort of looked at me like, what? The song is Key Largo. And it was a love song, but it's not from the movie. What is that guy's name? He had his own chicken place for a while. Country singer. He wrote the song The Gambler.
Chad, you need to help out because I'm clueless.
I've got it. I'm looking it up right now. Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers chicken. If y'all remember anything on Seinfeld, there was a whole episode dedicated to Kenny Rogers chicken. Yeah. Oh, see, I already looked it up, bitches. I already looked it up. You guys are slow. Coward of the County. That's right. Coward.
Yeah, you need to Google faster, guys.
I like that song, by the way. Coward of the County is a good little tune. They made that into a movie too, because they also turned The Gambler into a series, right? They did a film series. Then they do like 2 or 3 films, the Gambler series. I remember Bruce Boxleitner was in it. That's all I remember. Now, one of the things I really like about this film, even though it kind of bugs me that they're laughing like little kids by the end of this movie, because I'm like, hey, it wasn't that long ago your fucking woman died. And but he does right by her. He has her things sent on to, I think, her dad, but he's going to pay to have her buried, and to make sure, but he wants to make sure the dad knows. So he does right by her. He clearly loved her. As much as a guy like that can fucking do it. What's this one? The Gentleman. Oh my God, yeah. I fucking love that movie, and I want Anima to watch that with me, and I want to cover that one. And then I want to do the series. I'm serious. I want to do that series, and we'll do. What we're going to do is, what are we going to do those on Monday afternoons? We're going to do TV shows on Monday afternoons. Isn't that what we agreed on, Anima?
We talked about it. I don't know if the final decision has been made.
If I was involved with it, the final decision was made that it'll be Monday afternoons, because I think we all agreed that was the best day to do it. Because also, like when we did Pluribus, that's when Shinazki could join us.
But that was because he had the day off, because it was a holiday.
Now, the weirdest remake I've ever seen is the 1990s one, early 2000s, with Christopher Reeve after he became paralyzed. And they remade Rear Window with him being paralyzed. There's Joanna. Look how young she is. God damn.
Yeah.
The Gentleman series is really good, Shirley. I liked it. Did you like it? Yeah, you liked it. Okay, good. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to like it. I fucking loved it. Yeah, but I think it was a broken leg. Oh, for Rear Window? Yeah. Rear Window movie that Stewart was in, his character got hit by a car and took a photo of the car coming at him. And that broke his leg. But in the remake that was made around 2000 with Christopher Reeve, was he was in an accident that paralyzed him. But yeah, he broke his leg. And by the way, the bit actress that plays like his housemaid that's helping him, I love that chick as a fucking actor. She is so good.
Have I seen her in something?
Let me go look her up real quick. Because she was a great bit actor. Just in so many fucking movies and TV shows. I am the lineman for the county. All right, here we go. There she is, Thelma Ritter. She's best known for the films All About Eve, The Mating Season, Pickup on South Street, and Rear Window. She started it's another good movie. What's So Bad About Feeling Good? She was also in the movie 1967 film The Incident, which the Chief did. I think one of his first shows here on Pop Culture Minefield was the movie The Incident. She was in the movie Boeing, not Boing Boing, but Boeing, like Boeing Airlines. Move Over, Darling. Let's see. She was in the original TV series Wagon Train. She's in the movie How the West Was Won. Oh, yes, she played the mother of Burt Lancaster's character in The Birdman from Alcatraz.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
Classic. She's in the movie The Misfits, another great film. Pillow Talk with now I know it's Rock Hudson, but who is the woman in that, the love interest? I'm going to have to look it up because I can't remember if that was Doris Day or if that was, Doris Day. And it's another one of those classic Rock Hudson, Tony Randall comedies. And people have made mistakes for years thinking he's gay, Tony Randall. They know Rock Hudson is gay. Tony Randall was straight. And people go, get this look like, it's like, no, really. In fact, he was married to his high school sweetheart till she died of cancer. And then he remarried, got a younger woman, banged the shit out of her, made a kid, 1 or 2 kids, and then he died. Thelma Ritter's, God, Hole in the Head with Sinatra. I love that fucking movie. That's the one with the great song, the Ant in the Rubber Tree Plant song, which I love that song. Because he's got high hopes. He's got high hopes. He's got hot, warm, or hot apple pie in the sky hopes. Oh, I always loved that song. Sinatra's raising him, owns a hotel on the, down in Florida. He's got big plans. Birdman from Alcatraz is not close at all. Exactly. Totally inaccurate. That is not Stroud. Stroud was not a likable person. He was a horrible fucking human being. But damn it, he loved birds. And it's a good film. There was a British judge named Blofeld who had a barrister named Bob. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking around again, Alpha. Justice Blofeld greeted him by stroking the ermine on his judge's robes, saying, "We meet again, Mr. Bond. Get the fuck out of here."
Where do you get these stories from, man? That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. I like that. Karen Black was about 33 at the time. Stroud was pure evil. Yeah, he was. He's a fucking murderer. Fucking, that's great. I wish we could save these things. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something right there, Alpha. Drives me crazy in movies. Silencers on revolvers. Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
What's the problem with that?
The chamber, if you look at it where the chamber is, has a little gap between the where the bullet housing is and the barrel, which means that half the sound you hear when a revolver goes off is from there, not from the end of the barrel.
So silencer doesn't make much sense.
Doesn't work on revolvers. I think there's like one revolver that I recall where you could do that because it actually seals when it touches. John Frankenheimer directed and featured Burt Lancaster as Stroud. But he is fucking good. Look, Burt Lancaster, when he was at his best, The Swimmer. That's a movie I would normally not be gravitated to watch. But I sat down and watched it one day, and I was in awe of Burt Lancaster as an actor by the end of that movie. He carried that whole movie in his performance. Yeah, revolvers go bang. I do like the way they kill him here. He gets shot in the back and in the front. Nah.
I see what you did there.
because he hears the gunshot, Duvall does, and he thinks it's actually his partner shooting him, but it's not. It's Robert Ryan shooting his partner. And then when he goes to the door to shoot Macklin, I almost called him Buford Pusser. Joe Don Baker shoots him in the back, and then he spins around and shoots him in the front. And it's like, holy crap, man. He got it from both angles. And then he yells out to these guys, your boss is dead. You don't work for anybody. Just go. And then they're all like, you know what? He's right. Nobody's paying us now. So let's get out of here. And then the best part is you don't know who the good guy or bad guy is. So they just walk out and get right into the ambulance and fucking leave. They steal the ambulance. And what's funny is that's not how it was supposed to originally end. It had a down kind of ending. You know, I don't know if Joe Don Baker's character died in the ambulance, but I do know that the woman he loved is still fucking dead. So what are you doing laughing at the end of this movie? But fuck it, man. These guys outwitted the bad guys and he outwitted the cops and got the hell out of there.
That's true. Most movies get the sound of a silenced weapon wrong. Snorty's right there.
Yep.
Because it's never that silent.
Yeah, I've fired a lot of suppressors, and because there's really no such thing as a silencer; it's a suppressor, and people call them silencers, but they're not silent. You hear the mechanical action of the gun, and you still hear the parts that aren't in the barrel making the sound, like the cap itself makes a pop.
Yeah, 11 Alpha is explaining it here.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the other window. What's going on? Suppressors work by suppressing several different sources of the noise. Exactly. The noise of the sound of the gases in the barrel. That's the primary function of a suppressor right there. The explosion of the shell and chamber would not. That's right. That's why if you're firing from a revolver, you'll hear the cap being fired and you'll hear the initial blast of the round still coming from that empty area between the chamber and the barrel. But with automatics, you actually get a little more protection from suppressors. But the mechanical aspect of it is pretty fucking loud. And you still hear the cap sound. But it's the gases that escape out that make the big bang sound of the gun that gets suppressed. Because it gets caught up in the baffles of the suppressor. The gases do. Well, they were forced to change it in the first place, James. The original outfit, it's drastically different. And I'm trying to find it here real quick because it's been a while since I read this. The original ending of the outfit novel by Richard Stark differs significantly from the film adaptation. In the novel, the story concludes with the more cynical, realistic portrayal of the criminal world. Parker does not escape unscathed. After orchestrating a series of coordinated attacks on the mob's operations, Parker survives but is left isolated with no sense of closure or reward. The mob remains intact and continues its operations, underscoring the novel's central theme that the criminal underworld is relentless and is very impersonal. In contrast, the 1973 film adaptation, directed by John Flynn, features a more cinematic and satisfying conclusion. Earl Macklin, played by Duvall, and Jack Cody, played by Joe Don Baker, hijack a mob car, plant a bomb in the house, and after killing the mob boss Mailer, escape by posing as medics. They laugh as they ride away in the ambulance, suggesting a clear victory. The ending was intentionally upbeat, though director Flynn resisted the studio's pressure to make it this way, as he believed it preserved the film noir's tone. The novel's ending, however, reflects the cold realism of Stark's world, and where revenge is not a triumph, but a transaction and an endless cycle, which is, if you read any of the books, everything is transactional. It's a very cynical world that Parker lives in. It's not like he's not a protagonist. He's still the protagonist, but there's a lot of gray. in those worlds. And things that you think are concluded really aren't. They just keep going. The third source of noise in the mechanism itself, cycling and chambering. Yeah, exactly. If you're like in a revolver. Yeah, and that's the mechanical part. Exactly. That's what I was talking about, Alpha. The mechanical part of the gun is very loud. That whole gas port pushing that, the chamber back, ejecting the round, and then sliding back forward. That action is very loud. And part of the recoil you have when you fire an automatic weapon is from the mechanical action, not the whole. The round itself has an impact on the greatest impact on the kick. But part of that kick is the action of the pistol itself, because you are taking a piece of metal that has weight and mass, and you're shooting it backwards with gas, and then it's with spring loading, it's jacking back forward and putting a new round in. So, absolutely. Perfect explanation, Alpha. The $250,000 Earl wants from the outfit to pay him for killing his brother equates to about $1.8 million today. Second picture, which Robert Duvall was top billed, the first had been badge 373. And as I recall, wasn't that by Joseph Wambaugh? And the scene where Robert Duvall shoots a gangster's hand during the poker game, I like that moment. Has been censored when shown on network TV. However, the scene can be found. Well, it's in our little slideshow here too, and he shoots him. That is part of the payback for ordering the murder of his brother. Yeah, I love TCM. By the way, I reached out to I just forgot his name, Mankiewicz. That's one of the announcers on TCM. He's a film historian, and I've reached out to him to see if he'll like answer some questions, maybe come on camera and do an interview with us. I would love that. I would really love that.
Cool.
And by the way, I did not know Kenny Rogers was dead. He died in 2017.
Huh.
I really didn't fucking know that. So let's get into a little bit of things here. Production for this film. Film rights were bought by Carter DeHaven, who set the film up at MGM. John Flynn, who has been a longtime fan of the Parker novels, was brought in to write and direct. Contrary to rumors, Flynn claimed the film was always intended to be set in the present day and not in the 40s, despite the fact that James T. Aubrey, head of MGM, wanted the ending changed to make it more upbeat. Flynn remained very fond of the movie despite that. In February of 73, Charlton Heston wrote in his journal that he, quote, found time to read The Outfit again, which I turned down after a skim. Maybe I made a mistake. It's a good script, and it should make a good film. End quote. He does not appear in the final film, which is sad. Westlake called it, quote, one movie made from a Stark book that got the feeling right. The movie is done flat, just like the books, end quote. Westlake felt that Flynn, quote, put together an incredible cast. He wrote it, period, but then he de-emphasized that. He had everybody moving fast. It was efficient, but it was also thoughtful. So he liked the film. Okay. That's very cool. Oh, wait, what's this? Hold on. In his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. Wait, what's this? I missed this. What are we talking about here? Oh my God, that's another great film right there. I love The Friends of Eddie Coyle with Robert Mitchum. That is a solid fucking cynical movie. And it is one of those things where I just sat through that. Like, I've watched it multiple times. And it's hard for me to watch overly cynical or boring films. But there's something in that movie, man. And I think part of it is just simply Mitchum's fucking performance as Eddie Coyle. I just love that fucking movie, and it is very cynical. It's sad. Gotta go. Oh, okay, James, take good care, buddy. See you later.
Bye, James.
The gambler broke even. I'm assuming you mean in the song. In his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. In whose words was that, Shirley? I'm not seeing like a reference to this. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
I scrolled back, but I couldn't find anything.
I can't find anything either. What are you referencing there, Shirley? Because I'm not sure. My brain goes so fast that I'm like already on to like 3 subjects later. It all happened. By the way, I took multiple tests today, online tests. Just every single one of them said, "What enema?" What did it say?
That you're on the spectrum.
I am definitely on the spectrum, like right below severe autism.
Which I don't think is true.
I think that, look, I don't have a problem reading people's emotions. I can read, I'm empathic to begin with. I can read people's faces. I can tell if somebody's bored when I'm talking to them. I will just stop. I'll wrap it up quick. I'm like, clearly they're not into what I'm talking about. But all the other things, the way I get hyper focused on stuff, I'm caught up in the collecting of information. Oh, the gambler. Gotcha. I forgot the crack of the bullet breaking the soundboard. Yeah. By the way, Don Eckert did not like this story when I told it to him about my dad.
Oh, yeah.
That when I would have to go downrange to put out the new targets and collect all the other targets, my dad would fire over my head.
Which
the
is
first
a
time
fucked
he
up
did
thing
it,
to do.
I stopped because I didn't hear the report. I heard a snap over my head. And that's the bullet, because you have subsonic and ultrasonic bullets. And the ultrasonics make a crack sound, like a snapping sound when they go over your head. Whereas subsonic make like almost like a buzz sound, like a fizz sound, sizzle. That's it, sizzle sound. That's the closest thing to the real thing. And I can tell, like, if somebody fires a 45 over my head, I know the sound of a 45 and a high-powered rifle when fired over my head. So I also know that you avoid them all.
Yeah.
equally. But the crack of the bullet from breaking sound, even when a movie gets it right, that suppressor sound not completely silence the crack. They miss the lower round is less accurate. The thing that's interesting about assaults with these weapons that are suppressed, you'll still hear them, but I will tell you, if you're not in the same room where it's going off, you may not recognize that that's the sound of a gun. You have to be someone that's been around guns to recognize that mechanical sound. So, and they do rely on that shit when they're doing assaults. James, and do take care, James. I'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping in. Sorry to ask, is this open stream? I don't know what open stream means. What the fuck does that mean?
I think it means that anyone can join the panel, which no,
Oh,
we are not doing that.
No, we have to know you before we get you on. I just have to talk to you and figure out if you're insane or not, or good at talking in public. But also that you're not going to come on and go, oh my God, this person's insane. But what is that? Baron now. How do you pronounce that? Vitsa?
Yeah.
Baranowitsa. Okay. Good meeting you, man. I don't recognize that name.
I don't know.
Friends with Robert Mitchum. I've got to check it out. Absolutely. Fucking watch that movie. If you like this kind of movie, these gritty neo-noir films, you want to watch that film because, in my opinion, it was probably the most cynical fucking neo-noir I've ever seen.
Uh-oh.
Everyone is on the spectrum. it's a spectrum. There's just, yeah, I know. Those of you who are in the lower spectrum don't need to worry. I'm right up there because I really have weird behaviors. And
we need to address this.
I'm also extremely literal, which is also another sign. You're higher on the spectrum when you're literal, and I take things literal when people speak to me. So let's see. What's this? What's going on?
The sound of Pakalakataka Street.
What is that from?
Sander.
I've got 5 terrorists going southeast on Bakalakadaka Street.
There you go.
Oh, Snorty.
Yeah, when do they have to be saying? No, what he means is the spectrum starts at 0.
Yeah.
It goes up to about 100. Okay. And once you hit over 50, you are now on the actual spectrum. Even though it goes all the way to 0, you are officially on the spectrum over 50. And I am right at 83, and 84 is the first stage of severe spectrum. So I'm below severe. But that's because of the fact that I think I'd be higher on the spectrum if I didn't have empathy and the ability to read other people's feelings. I'd be much higher, but I can. So, I win. Also, when it comes to live streaming, some of us have a radio and a voice for books. Yeah. That's sort of like the way Douglas Fairbanks learned that he needed to retire after Talkie started, because he had a high-pitched voice. Which is funny because Douglas Fairbanks Jr. had a great voice for acting, in soundies, talkie films. Extremely clitoral. All right. The clip is from Team America. You goddamn right.
We
Sally
play that
Ford.
almost every day.
Clitoral warfare.
Oh, wow. I think I'm going to leave you boys to it and go to bed.
Richard Attenborough is in Brannigan. And that was one of those iffy things because he wasn't sure he wanted to be in that movie. But he ended up having a great time with Wayne. Got along with him really well. And I found that video, Anima. Did you guys watch it? Did you at least watch it? Of Michael Caine talking about meeting John Wayne?
Yeah.
You know what? Before we go, I want to play that fucking video.
Won't it get us played?
Try to find it right now. Here it is. Oh, and the Roger Moore, when he met Roger Moore, it was fucking hilarious. All right, let's move that over here. All right, here we go.
With a wonderful image of you, say this young man from Alpha.
I don't normally watch every episode of Graham Norton because he has some real shit-heels on his show that I don't like. But when I find out that he's going to have a certain actor on, I will tune in and watch this show. I have one of those things to where I can watch British TV shows, like VPN. What are they called?
Yeah.
Yeah, VPNs. Anyway, so this is the Graham Norton show, and I don't find all of his guests that enjoyable.
It is.
Get piss all over your shoes.
It's gross, but it's funny.
He's a cheeky prick. I don't find him funny, really. But I like his guests, and he does a fairly good job of interviewing. I think he's not bad. There have been other guys in that job that did better interviewing, but he gets them on there. And what I really like is that he gets them on the sofa to where they're all hanging out. And it doesn't make anybody feel like they're the star of the moment. They're all equal out there sitting on the sofa. Just, lounger, having a good time talking, telling jokes, so they go back and forth. And I think that's kind of fun the way he does the show. Oh, Michael Caine and John Wayne were incredibly tight. And quite a few actors became friends with him. And what surprised me is how many people he's been roommates with before he made it. And like Terrence Stamp, Sean Connery, and I can't remember the third one that he roomed with in London. And one of the funniest stories that he told outside of this one was about when he lived with Terrence Stamp. He says, I had just done a BBC production of the Container. This is like 1962. And he did this BBC live stage production of The Container. And as he's walking along the street with Terrence, his best mate, you know who Terrence Stamp is, great fucking actor, okay? They're walking along, they're young, walking along London, right as they're reaching Piccadilly. And he looks up, and coming out of the tube is Roger Moore with a case in his hand, walking. He's just walking along, and then he looks over and sees O'Toole, Michael Caine, and he's a little taken back. He looks right at him and then starts beelining right for him, walking towards him. He says, "You're Michael Caine, and you were just in The Container on BBC last night, stage production." He goes, "Yes." He says, "Oh, you're going places. You're going to be a star, young man." And he felt all good about himself, and Moore walks away, and he's like, "Oh my God, he said that about me." And Terrence Sampson goes, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, mate." He tore him right back down again.
Mean.
I love Michael Caine's stories. These guys, the thing I love about like Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole, and Caine, all of these guys, Oliver Reed, this was the same way. These great British actors, English actors that, technically like British, because as I recall, Oliver was Welsh. Burton the same way. Burton was Welsh. Great storytellers. And they take something that might seem so mundane and they make it funny, or make it worth more than what it was when it really happened. And I just love the way that they do that. And like that story that Richard Harris told about, like he told his wife he's going to pop around the corner to get some fags at the store, goes out and he looks at the newspaper stand out front, the little clear, what do they call those, kiosk, newspaper kiosk. And he looks and he sees his favorite team is in town. So he goes to see them and he ends up getting drunk with them, and then ends up on their bus and travels an entire tour with them, and then comes back after like weeks have gone by. And he remembered, oh shit, I told my wife I'd be right back, and it's been weeks. So he goes up to the door. He tries to open the door with the key, won't open. She had the locks changed. She was pissed. And finally he like rang the doorbell and knocked on the door really loudly. And she came to the door with that sternest look on him. He said, "Why didn't you pay the ransom?" And she forgave him for some fucking reason. Stayed married with him till the end. No, he was not. No, not at all. In fact, he kind of liked Terrence probably for the fact that he wasn't a party guy. Connery was a partier. He liked to drink, and he liked to brawl, and he liked to fuck. And so they were constantly at odds, because Caine is not like that. He's more of an introvert. And Connery saved his ass in a fist fight one night. They came walking out of the back of this pub drunk, and this guy starts to harass Caine coming out the door, and Connery just comes walking out and headbutts the guy, drops him. And he's like, I don't know what was happening. I think that guy was about to mug me or kill me. And Connery just headbutted him. A true Scotsman, man. And but he was a drinker. He liked to party. And but but they're like his best friends, and Connery was his best friend until Connery's death, man. And I love the stories these guys tell about each other. Like, there are great stories where Richard Harris will tell stories about Peter O'Toole, and Peter O'Toole would tell stories about getting drunk with Harris. And one of my favorites was where, well, with Michael Caine went out and got drunk with Richard Harris. Okay. And Harris says, come on, come with me. This is right when he was just starting to make it. He says, you're going to go with me, or you're going to have some fun. He said he woke up one morning and he was like, where am I? They didn't know where they were. Neither of them knew where they were. And this could have been Peter O'Toole that he did this with. It was one or the other. They're interchangeable. And he's like, what day is it? He goes, I think it's Sunday. And they're like, oh, we're good. Everything's good then. And then this girl who lived there in the apartment comes in and she goes, are you guys ever going to leave? He's like, what day is it? She goes, it's Monday. He goes, we have a show on Monday. What time is it? And they were like an hour from showtime.
Oh, shit.
And what I thought was so funny is like, oh, good. We've got an hour before we got to go on stage. We'll be fine. And then Keynes goes, what happened to Sunday? He couldn't remember an entire fucking day. Gone.
Wow. That
forever.
was some serious partying.
And it was just such a great little story. Here, I love these anecdotal stories they tell.
Sorry. I can't stop yawning.
28 July 75 LAH exam article reported that the film received a short-lived theatrical release, possibly due to a threat that was rumored be made to MGM by real-life mob. Oh, wait, what are we talking about? Did I miss something?
Here's the second part of that.
Well, I mean, weren't they happy enough that none of them were Italian? I mean, that's the funny thing about that movie with the outfit and the TV series Mission Impossible when they showed the mob. There were usually Jewish actors or Irish actors. You never had like real Italian mobsters involved with the show Mission Impossible. Now, on the show with the FBI, they did. But once again, they never got any threats. Why? Because the FBI produced that series for the network. The actual FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, oversaw every script before it was shot. An actor told an anecdote about spending the day drinking with Peter O'Toole drunk. They went to play. Well, that's really close to another incident where they went across the street during a break, and they almost missed their call. And Richard Harris is running because Peter O'Toole's fine. He has a minute or two before his character comes out on stage. But Richard Harris is like right then and there. And he ran and tripped on the way out and slid on, face first on the stage, out into the middle of the stage. And then got up and began delivering his lines. Right on cue. Right on cue. They tell some of the funniest fucking anecdotal stories, man. They really do. That's why, like, one of my favorite biographical books I ever read was Loitering with Intent by Peter O'Toole. I laughed my ass off at that book. Just Peter O'Toole being pure Peter O'Toole. Might have been Richard Harris. It's hard to tell. They're both interchangeable, Alpha. Peter O'Toole and Richard Harris are so interchangeable with their stories that it could have been either one of them, and it still works. The syndicate upset the film's depiction. In May of 73, HR items stated the MGM was considering a television series based on the film. However, no further mentions of the proposed series appeared. Well, that's because a lot of money would go to Stark for the character. Because, he was going by the name Richard Stark at the time, but it was Donald Westlake. Westlake was very funny about the rights to his characters. O'Toole has now, just as a prime example of some of the shenanigans, that the character of Kolchak, Carl Kolchak from The Night Stalker, this writer created that with an unpublished book. They bought the rights to it, and they greenlit the first movie, did gangbusters. A lot of money was made off of making that film, a lot of audience, and let's do another one. So they did. That first one was called Night Stalker. The second one was called The Night Strangler, and it did equally as well. So they were planning to do a third film that would be in Hawaii, where Kolchak and his boss, Vincent, I just got his last name, honey. Help me here.
I'm looking for it.
Vincenzo. Was that Vincenzo?
Yeah, Vincenzo.
He has an Italian boss, and they keep both getting fired. Like, it's going to be Kolchak, but for some reason he gets fired too. So they end up traveling together. They end up all over the U.S. in the series. They end up, because in the first movie he's in
Tony Vincenzo. That's his name.
Tony Vincenzo. Now, Vincenzo leaves Vegas and goes to Seattle, and he is in a bar and he hears Kolchak starting shit with somebody over the vampire story. And he's like, oh my God. He asks the bartender, he goes, tell me if you see a man around that corner wearing a seersucker suit and a straw hat that makes him look like the main character in the front page. And the bartender looks at him and goes, yeah, that's exactly what he looks like. And he goes, I knew it. And so he comes out and he delivers this great line. Vincenzo, my old friend, he is, where did we leave off the last time I saw you? He goes, I fired you. He goes, no, you didn't fire me, which means you can hire me. I need a job. So he ends up working for Vincenzo at that Seattle newspaper. And then they both get driven out of town by the police and mayor. And they end up leaving. And at the end of that movie, they're heading to New York. But somehow the third film didn't get made, which would take place in Hawaii. And it was to deal with aliens and an abduction. And that movie never got made. And they even came up with another premise for a fourth one. And they ended up, the network greenlit a TV series. And, but for some fucking reason, I don't know whose screw up it was, but the creator, Jeffrey Grant Rice, who wrote the original unpublished book, which was eventually published, also published as a graphic novel, was told that when they did the series, he would be an executive producer, and never happened. They went ahead and made the series. He found out they'd been shooting the series and threw up a royal stink, threatening to sue him. And so the network, studio/network, agreed that he would be listed as the creator in the credits of every show. So that was added, and he was paid a set amount of money too on top of that. And so he accepted that, created by, but the other person that was supposed to get a credit was none other than Darren McGavin himself. And he was supposed to get a screenwriting and producer credit. And because he actually rewrote a lot of, if not all of the scripts for the show, specifically scenes with him, because he understood the character. They're like, you're getting it wrong, and he would fix it. And but also in the process of this, the guy Dan Curtis, who is best known for Dark Shadows, had been the force behind the two movies, along with Matheson, Richard Matheson, the great screenwriter author. And Matheson, we don't know the whole truth behind it, but they were out with the TV series. Some have said that was because of Darren McGavin, that he and Dan Curtis didn't get along. But I don't know what happened with Matheson. because they needed Matheson. I think the series would have been a lot better with Matheson, and it wouldn't have got canceled the way it did. But oh no, that was I'm sorry. This is true. When you go back and you look at a lot of TV shows in particular, when you see mobsters, often those mobsters are played by Jewish actors, which is really weird. But at the same time, I get it, because a lot of times those guys were from New York too, so they had that way of speaking that made them sound like gangsters. And two, the Jewish actors often looked like they could easily be Italian too. And you got that too with the series Peaky Blinders, where a Jewish actor plays an Italian in it. The guy from The Pianist. I can't think of his name. He's in Predators, the Predators movie, where they end up on the planet being hunted by the predators. Anima?
Yeah. I don't know his name. I'm sorry.
The main actor, I can't think of his name right now, but he plays an Italian mobster in that series. And it's just like, you got to be honest, it's true. Prominent noses aren't just to Jewish people. You get prominent noses with Italians in particular. What we refer to, Adrian Brody. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Reed. Adrian Brody, easily, I've met a lot of Italians with very prominent noses, Romanesque noses, Coppola himself had relatives who didn't talk a lot like this. Yeah.
The fake Italian accent, yeah.
Oh, you said Brady, but I read Brody. Yeah, it's Adrian
He corrected
Brody.
it.
Yeah. And it's, well, I noticed that. That's why I brought it up. Oh, he's corrected. Yeah, James Caan, a Jewish actor playing the part of an Italian. Bada bing, bada boom.
If he looks the part, why not?
He nailed the character. Sonny, oh, he was fucking good in that movie. It's ironic considering John Marley from The Godfather, who is Jewish, speak a lot like this because the Sicilian population was stereotyped in a black and white film called, you guessed it, The Mob in 1951. Yeah. None of this stuff surprises me. What's this one? I was thinking that yours might be another version of the same anecdote I heard. Well, they all tie in so well, and some of them are so similar to other ones. I've conflated even the stories, not just who told them, because some of the stories are so similar. That's it. Let's get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Yes, please. We've hung out with you guys for 4 hours today.
More than that.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it was good hanging out with you guys. I'm not going to do the magical mirror thing right now. I'm just going to go ahead
once
and
a day is enough.
Get out of here. So I want to thank Snorty for popping in here again. Gambit, Shirley Levis here. It's always wonderful seeing you, Shirley. James Jameson or Jamie Jameson, JJ. Read by Nature, 11 Alpha, E. Clay Thomason, Sander Hammerschlag, Penny, Sally Forth, and Baron. I can't pronounce that fucking name, honey. Help me again.
Beranovice, I think.
Beranovice. That's a cool fucking name. That's like a $20 name right there. So thanks everybody for being. Warren Beatty played a Jewish mobster. Yeah, he's fucking Irish as the day is long. Oh wait, what's this one? It's always a fake Italian accent, like Marley says in The Mob. See, police, he's a tick, he's clubby, he's a bang, he's like a cup, Yeah, okay. All right, we're out of here, guys. Everybody have a great Monday. We will see you again on Wednesday. There is no Chief show this week. Other stuff is going on, not to mention these storms. But with him, it's something else. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, everybody take care. We'll see you on Wednesday. We're going to be doing Lethal Weapon 2 on Wednesday. Nice. It's Mel Gibson week. Woo. All right, guys. Take care. See you guys later.
Bye.
Damon.